no folder, same address, new folder, DB adapter. Okay. I have 3 folders. Okay. So one thing is you create in a JDeveloper and copy into this folder. Okay. The other option is take this location. Okay. Take this location. Okay. And come to a JDeveloper and create a new server project. Okay. Saying that, okay, DB adapter for OSB. Okay. So now the directory, if you don't specify, I want these artifacts to be created into OSB directory. But this project is into different directory, right? So what I will do, I will give the path of what OSB folder I want it to have. Okay. So now this what are the files I am going to create now will be created into OSB folders. Okay. And say next. I want only JCA files. I don't want any other stuff with paper. I don't want anything, right? So I'll say finish it. Okay. So now, what I need to do now? Assume that now if my task is to insert into a database, right? So what I was supposed to do? I wanted to. Where do I wanted to keep my DB adapter? If I wanted to insert into my database, I want to insert data into database. Where should I keep my DB adapter? Either reference or service. Where should I keep it? Reference. If the message is like fetch it, like income, then I need to keep it here, right? Or if it is like I need to make a call and then get it, I need to keep it in reference. So now insert, select, I need to call that, right? So what I should do? I should keep it in a reference. So what I will do? I will take a database adapter and keep it in a reference, right? And say next. Okay. Insert into. Okay. So what we'll do? We'll take one table from here. Okay. Say. So what we'll do? We have one HR database, right? We'll take that HR database. HR login. Okay. What we'll do? We'll browse the tables and see what are the tables available. I have employee table and employees table. And okay. We'll take employee table. Okay. So what is the model for this? You have primary key in this. No constants. Okay, we'll go for employees. Okay. Employees, there is constants, primary key and everything is there. Okay, it will help us understand to. I will go for locations. Primary key is there. Data. We'll take one more table. Okay. There is one more table, regions. Okay, constants. Okay, there is a primary key on this, and there is some data. Okay, and the table is ID and J. We'll take a small table. Okay, so there is some data. Okay, I'll take region table. Okay, so what I will do? Insert into region. Okay, region. Insert into the region table. So I'll say next. Okay, so now what should I do to create a database? To use a database adapter, I need to have JNDA name which is available in my adapter, right? So what should I do for this? I should have to localhost. I need to go to console, and after logging into console, what should I do? I need to have first create a data source, and then I should go to database DB adapter and update the outbound connection pool, right, with the JNDA name of the data source, right? Okay, so I want to have a database connection, right? So already I have a database connection in my JDeveloper, this you know. So I'll take database connection which is for HR. If you wanted to see this HR, there is a HR database which is on localhost, which is this now. Okay, if you test it, this connection is there. So I took the connection. So now I need to give a JNDA name here. Which JNDA name I should give here? DB adapter outbound connection factory JNDA I need to give. Okay. So what I will do? Okay. So what I did? So I should go to data source. First create a JNDA, right? So I went to data source. So here I have already a JNDA name for HR system, right? You see this? This is for HR system. Let me see the connection pool. It's HR database. Username is HR, right? So this is the HR database, right? So I took the JNDA name of this JDBC HR database DS and went to DB adapter. Go to DB adapter and in configurations I will be having outbound connection factory, outbound connection pool. In this, what should I do? I should create a new JNDA name for update. So what I did, I created a new connection factory which has name to this JNDA of data source, right? So what I will do now, I will take this name, connection factory name, and specify in JNDA name of this, right? And next say next. So now what I need to perform? I need to perform insert. Okay, I will go and select the insert only. Okay, so say next. Okay, so I need to import the tables. So what I will do, I will take region table, regions table, and say OK. Right? Say next. And there is no any, it's a single tab, there is no any relationship. So next, I have region ID and region name. Region name is a primary key, so it's automatically got selected. There is not, we have to specify the primary key. Say next. So now there is a common thing which we need to have. We need to fill query timeout. Okay, how many times it need to interval? All these details we need to fill. If there is any sequence, you can create a sequence. Say next. So finish it. Right? So now what we got it created is we created JCA file, or else if you are comfortable to create this JCA file, XSD, WSDL and all these 4 files with your XSD. There is an XSD created, right? XSD, JCA, WSDL and mapping file. If you can create manually, you can create it in OSB directly. If you are not able to create it, come to JDeveloper, create it and get these files into your folder. Okay? You have to do manually. If you can remember all the syntax, you can do it. Okay. If you don't remember, create it, you copy it that file. So now what we did, we created in this project. So what we do, we refresh this folder, right? So now it is able to expand it. So now what are the things created in this file are available in this, right? So now I have a JCA file. Okay, so now what is my task is, okay, right click your OSB, JCA file, come to OSB, generate a service. Okay, so now it will ask you what is the service name, what is the visitor name. Okay, so let it keep it in a business service. Again, I'll change this name to business service and visitor name to WSTL, and so that it will be easy to write. Okay, same. Okay, right, done. So now what happened? We have our business service created. We have our business service created, right? So this business service is based on a WSDL, right? It's based on a WSDL, and transport is JCA, right? So if you see your WSDL, open your WSDL. It's based on your binding transport is JCA. Else it is all your bindings, so bindings will be HTTP. Now it's a JCA based, so it is a binding will be JCA based. Okay, so and your SOAP address will be changed to your JCA DB adapter outbound connection pool JNDN. Okay, so now we have a JCA protocol where your target system is DB adapters file, and that's it. Your business service is done, right? So next, what should I do? I should create a proxy service, okay, which will be exposed to external clients. Okay, so what I will do, I will go to proxy service, right click it, say new proxy service, right? Insert data to regions, right? Underscore service. I'll go to proxy service. Say finish. So I got it created. So now what should I do? I should create proxy service. So now what type of proxy service is? So if I wanted to create expose as WSDL so that external client can pass the data into that, right? So I'll create a WSDL based on a WSDL. So now where is the WSDL? WSDL is available for me. If wanted, we can create a one WSDL, keeping our database WSDL separately, and we can use the exploit to transform the data. Others, there is a WSDL available. I will use the same WSDL to expose it to that. Okay. So go and browse it. Go to business service. I have a WSDL available here, right? Let's say this is the one. Okay. So now that WSDL is based on what? It's based on JCA. So now I am creating a proxy service based on WSDL which has JCA. Automatically my transport will become JCA based. So now if I have JCA based, how will I get the data, right? So what I will do? I will go to transport. Instead of JCA, I wanted a HTTP so that I can expose to a client. So I will change to HTTP. So now I have a proxy service based on WSDL with HTTP, right? So now I have a transport, leave as it is, rest of the things. Okay. So this service by default proxy service is not transactional. Okay. Transaction is not enabled by default. Okay. So we will see it later. Okay. So now I will go to message flow. In a message flow, what I will do? I will go and keep a route node. Okay, in the route node, what I'll keep? I'll keep a routing where my data will be routed to a business service. Okay. Now, what is the operation I need to invoke? So, in my case now, my business service operation and proxy service operation are the same names. I use the same itself. So, I can go and choose the operation name. If the operations are both are different, I can choose this. Or if both are the same, if inbound operation for the same outbound, then I can change this checkbox. So this will not be cancelled. If both the operations are the same, inbound and outbound, I can use inbound and outbound for outbound. Okay. So now whatever the data it gets to proxy service, the same will be handed out to routing to a business service. Okay. So that's it. So now what we will do? We will get it, deploy this project. Next. Okay. So now let's see what the data is there. Okay, now till 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So now we'll insert with the record 8. 8. Okay. 7. Okay. I'm giving some text. It's a export. So all you know it's a select, right? It's a one-way communication. So I think we will not have any response. There was no response. Otherwise, we have not given any response on the data, which is only one-way direct insert. Right? It got inserted. Now we can, if you want it, you can see invocation trace where it was routed to what. Okay. You come to this and see your data. You have a data 8. Right? This is how you are going to use your JCA. Okay. So now start this. Pause it. So in the JMS adapter, I created demo JMS server. I already have created a demo JMS server. Okay. Fine. So then, again what I will do, I have JMS module. I go to JMS module and I had already created a demo module. In a demo module, what I will do is I had already created a demo connection factory with J&A name of demo CF and demo queue with the name of demo queue. Okay. If you don't know how to get this, you go back to your server client. There is one document how to create this. You go to take the document and create all these things. Okay. So now I have a demo connection factory and demo queue. Okay. So next step, what should I do? I need to write data to the queue. Right? I'm getting the data from the client and I'm pushing to the database. Now I have one more system, queue. I need to write the same data to 2 destinations. Okay. Okay. So now I'll go to my business service folder and what I'll do, I'll say new business service. Okay. Okay. So now I say push to queue. Push to queue. Okay. Now let's go business service. So finish it. So now what happened? There is a business service created it. Okay. So now what type of a business service it is, right? So if you wanted to get a message service or digital based or anything, okay. So I can create a message service, and when I say message service, it does not to keep any message format. It does not require to keep any message format, right? I can go with a plain text or binary. Publish my choosing Sita. Okay. I can go with any of the things. If I go for visual based, okay, so then I have a message in a XML format.
OSB na?
What is just another? So I will have a message in XML format. If I go for messaging service, it can be binary, it can be XML, or it can be text, anything, right? So now what I have visual, right? We'll go for the XML message. I'll go for visual based. What I will do, and again I will select a visual which is based on JCA, right? So see, it's changing the transport configuration, right? It's based on a visual, it will change it. So now your transport has been changed to JCA, but my destination is JMS. So what I will do, I will go and change this to JMS. Okay. So when I change to JMS, this part is getting changed. So what it is expecting? Localhost JMS and connection factory and queue name, right? So now what is my connection factory name? Demo connection factory. You have to give the IP address of the system where it is running, the port number of the server where it is running, and this one connection factory name and queue name, right? JNDA name of the queue. Put it and say add. Now I have the destination where I need to add. Save it. Okay, and JMS transport, whether it is a queue, right? And message type is bytes or text. So now XML is a text, right? It's not a bytes. So I'll change this to text. If you wanted to keep it as a byte also, you can keep it, it will go as a byte. Okay, but now I need to keep it as a text. If you wanted to byte also, that is also fine. Okay, let's go keep it as a byte, leave it as it is, but we'll see how it is. Okay. And the rest of things you can leave it as it is, you can see later. Okay. So response queue, right? We have in asynchronous communication in web service settings we have two modes, right? What is it? Causation ID and message ID, right? So if you use causation ID, what is it? It will be the same queue, right? If you are going to have a message ID, then you can have it to different ID. So in that cases, if the response has to go to the same queue or to the different queue. If you wanted to configure to different queue, we can select it, these details, and we can manage it. So now for this, we will leave it as it is. Okay. So now we go back to our proxy service. So now my business service is done. So now my proxy service. So now earlier I have only one, I kept route it and did it. So I have one more system. So now if I wanted to have one more system, can I have one more route? No. Right? So for asynchronous, what should I use? I should use publish. Okay. Your publish is what type? It is a stage. It is a stage activity, right? Your publish is in a stage. You publish in a stage activity. Okay. To use a stage activity, I should have stage. To have a stage node, what should I use? I should have a pipeline. So what I will do? I'll take a pipeline, keep a pipeline first. Why? Because my route should be the last. I'll keep a route pipeline. In the pipeline, what I will do? I will keep a stage. Okay. In a stage, what I will do? I will do publish. Okay. Publish to business service. Which business service I need to publish? I need to publish to queue. Okay. So now, I say publish to the queue. So again the same fundamental. If the operation is same, you need to have it. Else you can use the same inbound operation for outbound as well. Okay. So enable this. So now I will push it to the queue. Right? So if my queue is not available, what should I do? How many times I need to route it? If my database is down, how many times I need to route it? Right? So that's the reason what we have. We have one more activity called routing options. Okay. Where you have quality of service to check how many times we need to route it. Right? Quality of service, where we will be keeping best effort or the exact ones. Push it exactly once or best effort we can keep exactly once. Okay. So now what we did? I have a stage where I say publish. Publish to queue. So how many times I need to try? I need to try with one time. Once it is pushed it, then I will come to the out and route it to table. Insert into a table. Right? So my proxy service is done. Right? So what I will do?
Best of all is
Best of all is it will keep trying number of times. If you say exactly once, it will say one times.
And the quality of service exactly defined.
See, you have some service, right? You have some functionality. I have the some functionality. So now which one I should choose it? Assume that Sita have implemented same functionality and I have implemented same functionality. I have now there are two services. Now which one I need to choose? Which one I need to choose? Assume that you have two products. Which product will you choose? You will choose about based upon the quality of the service. Which quality is good, we will choose it one. Right? Correct. Based upon both the products, it has different qualities. Your qualities will be explained. Right? If you take whatever the product you want, the quality of the product will be explained. Based upon that, you will choose whether to which product you want it. Correct? So, assume that now you have two cars. You have petrol and diesel car. You have two products, right? You have the same cars, either petrol version or diesel version. Okay. Which version you will choose? You have some qualities for this and you have some qualities for this. If you say diesel, you will get more mileage, you will get more noise. That is the quality of that. If you say for petrol, if you say less mileage, less noise. It's your choice. Which one you wanted to choose it? Okay. Same as quality of service also. In this, for your proxy service, how many times, well, given your proxy service, you tell, okay, my service, I will try to interact with the system as maximum times I will try it and I will try to take care of that, I will definitely deliver it. Your service may say that, okay, I will not take care, I will try only once. If you can deliver it, else I will not deliver it. That is your quality of your service. Your service may be, okay, I don't bother about whether it is available or I will try my best to deliver it. You will take the responsibility. His service says, I will not take the responsibility. It's your choice of implementation. Okay. You may ensure that when you say best effort, you should try your best to deliver it. There is no option that you cannot deliver. You should deliver it. If you say exactly once, okay, I tried once, it's not available, I am not responsible for it. Simple. It depends upon what scenarios which one you choose it. Okay. So now my proxy service is finished. What I will do? I will deploy this. Right? So it got deployed. So now what we'll do? Last time we kept data as 8, right? 8. Now we'll keep it 9. Okay. So now if we keep it 9 and data as some PVB. So now what should happen? If I submit it, what should happen? We should keep it in 2 places, into the queue and into the database. So now execute it. Okay. So there are no errors. So now what will happen? So if I will go to my queue, okay, go for monitoring. Okay. I have 5 messages. Go to messages, submit and send 5 messages. Come down. Today's date is 3rd. The second is the working availability. This is 3rd message, right? So select this and see the message. So now everything is some binary format. Since we kept it as a binary, right? So now for now what we'll do? Now we'll change it to go to my queue and I will say message.text. So that next time it will be a text. Okay. So now it pushed into the queue. Next thing what we will do? Actually see whether it pushed into database or not. So let's replace the database. Go to data. Yes. Data is pushed into the data. So now it is pushed into both. Okay. So now what we'll do? We will do one more testing. Okay. Now what we will do? We will deploy it again. It will go in the text mode. Okay. So now what I will do? I will keep it 9 and say 10. So now invocation failed. Okay. So why invocation failed? So now what I did? Now you see you have to track this. So in a stage you have a publish. So publish has published it. So now in the root node it failed. There is an error in the root node, it failed it. Right? So what is the error? External system handler. So if you don't handle it, it will go to system error handler. Right? So in a system handler it has to take care. In a system handler will take care of your transactions. If you say if your transaction is available, it will go back. If a transaction is not there, it will commit it. Right? So now for our proxy service, we don't have transactions, so that it will not roll back. Right? So system handler, what it said, okay, whatever the error it is, it go an error saying that unique constraint violated. Okay, violated saying that okay, it has data 9, it's already there, so it failed out. Okay, so now it failed. It says it is not kept into the database. Right? If you replace your data, so now you see the data. 10 is not there. So, but now what happens to your queue? Module. Go to your demo module. Go to your queue. Water. So now, how many messages should be? 6. But actually, our conclusion is you should have to push to both. Or should not push to both, but it pushed because my proxy service is not transaction. It is non-transaction. It's not a transaction. It is non-transaction, right? So it is non-transaction means if one has submitted, if other failure also, it is not bothered. It will continue it, right? It gave an error to the system. System has given an error, but there is no transaction where system can handle it, right? So now, what should we do? let's go and see whether it is text or byte. It is 58. So now it is text based. Now it is text, right? It got our 9CCC, but in DB it didn't go, right? So now what we will do is, okay. So now go to your proxy service. Okay. Go to message handling. So enable your transactions. I say for my proxy service I require a transaction. So enable the transaction. So now I have a proxy service which is a transaction. So now my system will handle the transaction. Right? If my service, my message flow will not have any other, then at the end of the message flow, my system will commit the transaction. If anything in my message flow have another, and if the error is propagated to the system, right? Then system will not commit, because commit statement will not execute. Before that only it will roll back. Okay. So now I enable the transactions. Okay. So again, deploy your proxy service which has transactions enabled. Okay. So now what we will do? We will keep same 9 with some data. Okay. And we will execute it. So now what it will do is, it will try to first, again it has failed to the other. So now what it is doing? First it tries to push to queue, right? It pushes successfully to the queue. Then what it will do? It is trying to push to database, where your database has given the same error what we had earlier in the queue violation, right? So now your database no update with the data. And now what about your queue? For a queue it's already pushed it, but your transaction roll back there. So it will undo that, right? So now your message flow, this one should have how many messages? Only 6. It has only 6. Okay. So now assume that if you keep it proper message, keep proper message saying 10 and say execute. So now executed successful. So now what will happen? It will push to let us refresh this. Refresh it. Same message. Under DB has message. Okay. So that's how you have to handle your transactions. Okay. If a process is not enabled with the transactions, then you will not do a rollbacks. You cannot have a control on your systems or on your road systems. Okay. Or even if there is an error, and if you keep the error handled, okay, and you give a reply, then your error is not propagated into your system handler, so that your system cannot deal with your transactions. Okay, if you give a reply means it's successfully executed, right? So then it will not roll back your transactions. Okay. So now, any other questions?